Hey MJ, this is Mr. Berardi with an update on the football game tonight and then a new segment. Tonight the football team will play beach. The game will kick off at 7 o'clock. As a reminder, bags are not allowed in the stadium. So if you are bringing a bag with you, you need to make a plan to either keep it in your car or make another arrangement before you get there. New this year, we are starting a new segment called Ask a Principal. So here's the first episode.
What is one thing you would like to change to elevate the experience at MJ for the students and staff?
That is a good first question right there. I think something we've done this year, while I'm thinking of an answer for that, like the cell phone policy, which I'm sure y'all are going to ask about in just a second, that has made a world of difference in class. Like kids, I mean, y'all can talk about this if you want to or ask more questions about it, but kids are more engaged. They're not distracted by their phones. That's something we've implemented this year due to the new state law. I think the biggest thing is we want kids to have opportunities to do different things in class. Like I think this is the first one we've ever done, Ask a Principal. So doing stuff like this, if a kid comes and wants to try something and it's able to be done, we're going to try to let them do that. So anybody that has a new idea for something, we're willing to listen and see, because sometimes y'all have better answers than we do, and we'll present a problem and y'all come up with a great solution to it.
When did you tell yourself I wanted to be in principal and why?
Mr. Berardi, you go first, then I'll answer.
I've sort of always thought about it throughout my life as a student. School, I always, like when I was in school, I always loved being a part of the school community and having school pride. I went to high school in West Tennessee, and I'm a Dyersburg Trojan, and I still have that in me too. And so I've always loved being a part of the school community, and it's something I've always thought about. And then as my career has progressed, I got more and more serious about it as I was a teacher and a coach. And I feel very fortunate to be able to have this job, and it's one I take very seriously and have a lot of pride in, and do my best every day to help make this school as best as I can.
For me, I don't know if when I really decided, but I taught for 5 or 6 years, then got my master's in instructional leadership. I was always around education growing up. My mom taught for 39 years, 34 of those years were here at Mount Juliet High School. One of my uncles was a principal and teacher. He taught and was a principal for 30-something years, and his wife, my aunt, was a guidance counselor. So I guess that probably rubbed off on me, like getting to be around them and hear like his crazy stories when he was principal of his school, and now I have my own crazy stories about different things. But I think probably after year 5 or 6 of being a teacher, I decided I wanted to at least have the option to be an assistant principal. I wasn't sure if I ever wanted to be a principal, but now I can't imagine doing anything else, because I get to do all kinds of fun stuff like this, and like there's all kinds of things during my day that come up that are just fun to deal with, and getting to help people is probably the biggest thing I enjoy about the job.
What is your passion in life besides being a principal?
I'll answer this one first, I guess. I'd say my family. My wife and I have been married 11 years. Hope I got the number right on that one. I have 3 kids, 8, a 6, and a 3-year-old. So I'd say them. The 2 oldest ones are in school now, so it's fun to watch them grow up. So I'd say my family's probably the biggest passion.
I would agree with that for me. I have a 11-month-old, so my life has changed a lot in the last year, adjusting to becoming a father. I have a great wife who's very supportive and helps me through a lot of the challenges I face. And then all my extended family still lives in Canada. That's where I was born. They've had a big impact in my life, even though they're in a different country. I'm really close with all of them, and I travel there at least once, if not twice a year, to see them.
When you became principal, what was the thing that you wanted to improve the most?
Another good question. The first year when I was principal, we still had West Wilson 8th graders that were in here. So I'd say figuring out that dynamic and how we could coexist, I guess is the right word. I'd say the second year when West Wilson's building opened up, they rebuilt it from the tornado. It just felt like a fresh start in that second year, especially just because we didn't have 400 additional students in here. So that was probably the biggest challenge, I would say, in the first year to the second year, just having to deal with all the stuff that comes with having another grade and all that fun stuff in the building with us.
I think one thing that I really focused on in my first year as administrator was learning all the ins and outs of my different roles and responsibilities. I didn't want to come in and tell myself that I knew everything, because I'm one of those people that I know that I will never know everything, and I'm always trying to learn and improve myself. So I was very conscientious about having that type of mindset as I started. And then just sort of seeing things that I thought we could improve on, whether it's with staff or with students, just sort of always reflecting and coming up with my own ideas. My mind goes off on tangents quite a bit, more than people realize. So just trying to be intentional on learning first, and then coming up with ideas, and then finding the best ways to implement those ideas.
Will there be any solution to the overcrowding bus problems?
That is not really some people think that we deal with that directly. We have the transportation department, that they are the ones who are over that. We communicate with them, and part of the problem is there's not enough bus drivers that have applied for the open position. So if anybody's listening to this or watching this and wants to be a bus driver, they will pay for the training for that. You have to have a special license to do it. Part of the other issue, I guess, is bus drivers drive like super early in the morning. Typically, they drive an elementary route, then middle school, then high school. And then in the afternoons, it's the same thing. So they have an irregular schedule, and there's not, some people like that. Some people, they're like, well, I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive a bus. That's one of the big challenges. They've increased the pay for bus drivers, trying to increase, I guess, the retention and like getting them in there. But it's a lot of it is the irregular hours and just that schedule. Some people don't want to do it, or some people do it for a little while, then they realize I didn't know what I was signed up for, and they just quit. Sometimes that's an issue too.
For Mr. Hill, what school rules would you change if Tennessee wasn't a factor?
Whoa, what school rules would I change if Tennessee wasn't? I'm thinking that's a good. What would you change? Would you change the cell phone thing?
I think I personally would, because sometimes phones can carry diseases, maybe, or like germs and stuff. And with the pouches, everyone's phone is going into another pouch, which can spread the disease.
Okay. I like the cell phone law, so I wouldn't change that one. I would say maybe like some schools, our school district doesn't do it, like maybe offer like a 0 block class where instead of starting school at 8:30, if you wanted to start at like 7 and start early and get done earlier in the day. That's something I've heard about other schools doing. And this would have to be a district thing. Some school districts are going to a 4-day school week instead of 5, like have them every Friday off or Monday off. That's something that sounds appealing. I'd have to look more into it, but that is something that I could foresee us in the future possibly doing that. But that's something that I feel like would help student attendance. It would help teacher morale. And those are probably the 2 big ones.
My question is, do you enjoy pep rallies? And if you do enjoy them, why do you enjoy them?
How about it, Mr. Berardi?
I do enjoy pep rallies. They can be stressful from an administrator's standpoint, just because the whole school is in there, and the design of a pep rally is to be, loud and active. So there is a lot of possibilities of things to happen that an administrator would be concerned about. But it goes back to what I was talking about earlier about enjoying being a part of the school community and having school spirit. And that's a big pep rallies, things like that, opportunities to show school spirit and have fun together are a big reason why I'm in this as my career. And like I've worked at Mount Juliet High School specifically this is my 11th year, I think, or 10th. And I still get chills when we sing the alma mater. Like to this day, every single pep rally, I still get chills.
I enjoy them. I mean, it's really the only time we ever have the whole school together in one spot. in my mind, the way I think, it's always like, well, what could go wrong if we do certain things? We've had issues that have come up where some things have happened, but won't let those happen again. But I mean, it's like literally the only time when everybody is in the same place at once. So it's cool to see that. Like the alma mater is awesome, doing the lights, turning that out, and then doing the 5 words at the end. That's my favorite part because I get to lead it. So I enjoy it, and there's always fun. Sometimes you think a game's going to be awesome, and it turns out not to be awesome. Sometimes you're like, I don't know about that game, and it's the best one of the pep rally. Just seeing the spontaneity of the pep rally, too, is really fun to watch.
This question is for Mr. Hill. Why did you change the bus lane from the building to the side of the building? Good
question right there. So last year, do y'all remember we had the weapons detection systems for about a month? Do you remember us having that? So when we did that, we had to have one of them set up in the front of the building and one set up in the commons. What's going to happen eventually this year is each high school is going to have their weapons detection system, and having everybody go in one spot together eliminates us having to have 5 or 6 adults up front, 5 or 6 adults working those machines in the commons as well. So just getting everybody in the same spot is a good thing. Like if people come in before 8:30, if students try to come in before 8:30 at the front doors, there's a sign up. They don't let them in till 8:30. Having everybody come in right there, that's a security thing too, for the SROs can see everybody walking in. So the big reason was the weapons detection system we'll get later this year. They haven't told us when we're going to get that, but just having everybody down there together, all go through one spot, is going to make it a lot more efficient when we get those.
Can we change the phone pouch situation to slow the spread of disease?
Could you expand more on that?
Like how Prince was saying, everyone is putting their phone in the pouch like over and over again with a bunch of other people's phones, and phone screens like have been shown to be extremely dirty, and people have been getting like really sick really often this year, especially as compared to last year, in my opinion. And I was just wondering if there's anything y'all could do about that.
We track attendance, and so that's something we can compare. It has not shown so far, but we can look into that. I don't know the science behind the germ spreading that way. If it is an issue and the attendance does track, we can come up with some kind of a solution, whether it's an alternate place to store your phone, or not making any promises, but like a way to clean your phones maybe after you get it out of the pouch. If we do find that is an actual issue, then we will address that.
And the janitors have stuff like cleaning stuff that if we decide, hey, I want y'all to clean those at the end of every day, they would be able to do that. It would just be us getting the supplies to get those cleaned.
So in the beginning of the interview, you said that y'all are both fathers. As a child of a principal, do you think that being surrounded with kids all day, every day, and then coming home to kids affects like the relationship or like the mood of your household?
I would say sometimes, I'm being honest, yes, it does. Sometimes, like if I have to deal with something like super serious or something is on my mind when I get home, I try to tell myself I have like an 11 or 12 minute drive home. So I try to like separate home and work. Sometimes you're not able to do that. But I mean, my kids are young. Like I said, 8, 6, and 3. They could care less how my day was. Pretty much every time they're happy when their dad walks through the door. And I have to realize that they don't care what I dealt with 30 minutes ago or in the middle of the day. So it's about making that shift in my mind. Like when I'm home, I need to be home. And sometimes we do have to deal with stuff outside of school hours. Like I may get a phone call or something that comes up. I try not to be on my phone a lot, and I feel like I've gotten better. My wife will call me out on it sometimes if I'm on there too much. I think just being able to try to separate it is the biggest thing, because like they don't care. I mean, not that they don't care. They're at the age where I'm dad when I walk through the door. They don't care that I'm the principal of the school.
I think for me, my son is young, but it is good for me to provide that separation, because it is hard to get past some of the things that we face. But it is a good reminder of the need to, even, for example, this interview, there could have been things that have affected me earlier today that I need to get past so that I can do this interview and not, bring that with me here. So it's a good reminder every day when I go home, like, hey, you gotta be father also.
Guys, thank you for participating in this Ask a Principal First Edition experiment. Everybody give it up for Ryan Hill and Michael Berardi.